Alright, 2009 Toyota Corolla S model. Drum brakes in the back. Changing the rear wheel bearings. Got kind of a howl as you speed up. Just gets higher pitch. Kind of ate out the tires just a little bit. That also contributed to the sound I was hearing. But you jack it up, you can spin it, you can barely hear anything in the bearing, but it's the bearing. Anyway, I had an issue here. Of course, you pull your tire off, use a jacking bolt, pull your hub off, pulls it out, unbolt these 4 bolts from the back side. Easy to get to, unplug your ABS sensor. I didn't want to take the brake assembly completely apart, so other videos I watched, they took all this apart. I didn't want to do that. So what I did, whenever you get this unbolted, the actual hub will be stuck inside of this brake drum housing or whatever. So you'll beat it from the back side and the whole thing will come loose, and then you'll be like, how am I going to get this hub out of this? Because it's all rusted up, as you can see. And I beat and I banged and that didn't work. I came up with an idea. So I popped one of the lug studs out. I got me a bolt that would fit inside. And where it ended up pressing on was in 2 places. Here and here. And all I had to do was, I sprayed it with some TV blaster, or I was using this for instance. But all you have to do is beat on this bolt in 2 different places and it came out fairly easy. I tried multiple different things, but that's what I came up with. So just pop your stud out, find you a bolt by that size, length, or whatever. I mean, you got a socket extension that'll fit, mine 1/2 inch wouldn't fit. But anyway, that seemed to be a lot faster than the videos I watched. I'll try to show you how to do the next one. I don't have the camera's not set up right to hold. I don't have a stand for my camera, but I'll try to video the next one and show you what I'm doing. But it just seemed to be a lot easier than the other way. There may be some puller or something you could use, but for this bolt, it worked really good with me. You just keep alternating back and forth. Kind of hold it with your knee best you can. Just keep alternating back and forth, and that way you don't have to take this apart. Save you some time, some headache. We'll see how long it takes me to do the next one. Alright guys, so this is the other side. All I've done was take the wheel off. Let's see. Size socket I'm using is a 7/8. 21mm probably work better. But it works. So next I'm going to take, some of these will come off. You can take a rubber mallet, try tapping them. It works sometimes it doesn't. What I've done was take a jacking bolt. I call it a jacking bolt, it's nothing but a bolt. These drums come with 2 holes in the drum, and that's what it's made for, is to jack this drum out. So you'll put a couple turns on this one. You heard it pop, it broke loose. Do the other one. So you're trying to apply the same pressure. Should be already loose though. Turn it a time or 2 just to make sure. Alright, it's out. And like I said, just find a bolt that's, you got to find the right threads of course, but I just have a bolt bend. So next is a 14mm 6-point. You use 12-point, I'm sure. Use a ratchet. I prefer impact. It's a lot faster. I'll show you the ABS sensor. It has got this little clip right here. You have to pop it open, and I think there's one on the back side. I had an issue getting it off on the other side, so I kind of broke it. But anyway, play with it. I think there's one on the back, and it will come off. So keep playing with it, you get it. Or you'll break it. So what there is, there's one up top, and you flip it over, it's actually two, and I couldn't get my hand to that one, so anyway, it'll still secure it. This tab here, this tab just broke, but it'll still secure it when I get done. There's a press tight tab. So there's, it's hard to see, but if you press this, I'll do it this way. If you press this, it barely goes up like that, and then you pull it off. That's all there is to that. So what I'm doing now is I am putting my bolts, these bolts here are the ones I took out. This one here, I'm looking through the camera, and this one. What I'm doing is, I'll show you all the way out. This is all the way out. Now if you screw it in, start with, I like to use, have all the threads in the hub assembly itself. That way you get as much surface area as possible when you start beating on this thing. So I'll screw them all in, I don't know, a quarter of an inch from the hub. I know the video quality's horrible, but if you're looking at this from my angle, you'll be able to tell what I'm doing. So now I'll take just the socket extension, put on the end of the bolt like this, and give it a beat. You can go around all four, you can just pick two across from each other, diagonally across from each other. You know, top one on this side and the bottom one on this side. Either way, it'll come out, but like I said, the hub will come out with this housing. And then we will use our bolt through the spindle and tap the housing off of the hub. You can put the socket on the end of your extension. We don't have to hold it on there. come out. And you can wiggle it, try wiggling it, and that's moving. Keep beating. And it's out. So now we will let this. It's got a steel brake line, so I wouldn't flex it around. I wouldn't pull it out or anything like that. Just be careful with that. This one, whichever stud you want, you're going to beat out where it won't hit the brakes. And tap it out. Now, we'll use our bolt. So we'll slide in and make sure it's on that plate on the back. Make sure I hit any brake components or anything. And the hub will support itself, and you will start tapping and watching. See, I haven't lubricated this, so I'm going to just try giving it a tap and see what happens. So it's already moving, so I'm going to just work it like it is. I'm not going to worry about lubricating it. I'll just keep working it like it is. Yep. Keep working it. Yep. And out it comes. And I'm just going to support this up like that. So now I'm ready for my new bearing. You can tell it doesn't take much, but when you put load on these bearings and they're slightly wore out, they will howl at 80 miles an hour to the point to where you do not want to hear them anymore. And they'll start eating your tires out, and your tires start roaring, just domino effect. But that's pretty much it for removal. I'm waiting on parts, so I've got it torn down at this point, and we'll see how long it took me. I'll put the total on there, start to finish, compared to my last, the other side, figuring out what to do. This bolt this seemed to be the trick. You watch the other guys' videos and they get them out, but I tried their way and it took me a few smashed fingers and a little bit of foul language, and still couldn't get them out. So this was the best way I could figure. So get the parts back in and I'll be back with you. Alright, so I'm back. Got my parts in. All I've done is take a little bit of sandpaper, 220, whatever, not much. You're just going to barely sand inside of this, just to get the rust out. That's all you want to do. You don't want to grind any metal off, so just knock the rust off the actual, I guess, control arm piece and the brake assembly, the housing. Sand it down just a little bit. I put a little bit of penetrating oil in it. This is what I'm using. It's more of an industrial style. WB Blast or W40, some kind of penetrating lubricant. That way you don't have any issues getting the hub on. Here's my new hub. Looks like it's the right one. It does go on a certain way, so it will go on like this. See how this is? You can tell the difference. Top's wider than the bottom. That's the way it's gonna go on. You can kind of tell there, top's wider than the bottom. So that's how it's gonna go in. Line it up, put 4 bolts back through it, tighten it down, plug your ABS sensor plug back into it, and put the little safety clip on there also, and put the drum back on to the spindle hub assembly, and it's pretty cut and dry after that. So I'm going to post this up and let you watch the best you can. I still don't have my stand yet, but I'll get that sometime. I'll try not to be in the way this time, but that's kind of difficult. Spins nice. Heat treated. Get them all started. Gonna need some light. Put your clip back on, your little safety clip for your ABS sensor. Snug them down by hand. Not sure what the torque specs are. This is probably something you might want to check out, but I kind of use my own judgment. They weren't very tight when I took them off, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put them back on pretty tight. Get them all tight, get them all snug with a wrench first. Then tighten them up in a cross pattern, kind of like you do putting your tire on. You want to go on and go on even. Then you can start tightening them down, same way in a cross pattern, a little bit at a time. Make sure you get them good tight and make it even. Alright, that's pretty tight. Anyway, bearing spins pretty smooth and quiet. That's what you want. So the ABS sensor's plugged in, 4 bolts in the back. Tighten, we can do anything with the brakes. All we do is press this drum off. So, we want to put it back on. And put our tire back on, and that's it. going to bump these down. Get them. Get them snug. And then whenever I let the car down, I'll tighten them up by hand. Alright, that's pretty much it for this side. The other side is the same. So, I don't know how long that's been on there, but anyway, the other side's the same way. Nothing to it. You hear a little bit of brake drag. But, that's it. Any questions? Just post below.